Here I am after so many years, hounded by hatred and trapped by fear. I'm in a box. I've got no place to go. If I follow my mind, I know I'll slaughter my own. Help me, I'm the prisoner. Won't you hear my plea? I need somebody, yeah, to listen to me. I beg you, brothers and sisters, I'm counting on you, yeah. Black babies in the womb, shackled and bound, chained by the caveman, keeps beauty down, smacked on the ass. Greetings. Welcome again to the NEPPC podcast. My name is Brother Frank, and I'm with my brother and former political prisoner,
Abdul Haq Islam.
Today we want to give a Black Power salute to our comrade who made his transition, Albert Woodfox. Right on the screen, we show a picture of him and his book dealing with over 40 years of solitary confinement. This brother needs to be commended for what he was able to endure, and we need to continue to use him as an example for what we need to do if we are truly on the side of people who are oppressed and we want to struggle for their liberation. So we continue to carry on his legacy by doing the work, because when he was in this a torturous situation, he was not broken. In fact, when I did my research on him, it said that he was seeing freedom in his mind, right? He told himself that he was free. So regardless of what predicament they put him in, he was still able to stand up as a man, as a soldier, right, for liberation. And he was denied the going to see his mother's service when she made a transition, as well as his sisters. And when he came home, he said that was very painful to go to the gravesite and make some type of reconciliation with that unfortunate situation. So just for him to share those experiences. And another thing he did was he helped inmates learn how to read who couldn't read, and he intervened, him and other brothers when there was some rape going on in the prison, and he
whole lot of it.
right, and he didn't stand for that. So he talked about what they did and how they organized, and they couldn't prevent all situations from occurring, but he witnessed a situation where he seen a man being broken, right, in terms of his spirit being broken. He knew that he had to do something about that. So he utilized his time in a constructive way, and I think that itself is something that's commendable, something that needs to be evaluated and used as an example for others who are going through similar situations. And we take another time to recognize Mutulu Shakur. His birthday had just passed a few days ago, and we want to give him a Black Power salute. We want him to continue to fight his fight to come home to his family. And I know he's been denied compassionate release a number of times, but we still have to make that demand for it, because it is our taxpayer dollars that allow the state to function the way it functions. So we have to think about our brothers who are suffering. This is Black August, so welcome to Black August. For those who don't know, it was initiated by Field Marshal, George Jackson, who came up with this idea because it was a time that people who was fighting for justice and liberation needed to focus on getting rejuvenated, getting a reboost, because this type of work can wear you down. And he talked about fasting, he talked about study, he talked about education, and just making a intense assessment of one's principles and convictions. So when you come back with more fire. It's like a boxer when they hit that bell, and a boxer determining that this round they're gonna fight a different way, but they're not gonna give up that fight. Abdul Haq.
Peace and love, brothers and sisters. Black August. Black August is for Black people. It's a time when we think about and talk about, those among our race who are lion-hearted, who stood up, you understand, when that was what was necessary, did what was necessary to uplift our people, to inspire our people, you understand, to make our people believe that we can win, at a time when we're being assaulted from every angle. Black August, is when we define our own history, when we look at and we control the narrative for Black people instead of having someone else telling us what reality is. Us being in charge of teaching our people what is real and what is going to work for us and what we have to do and how strong we have to be, to put that determination in the atmosphere, you understand, to fill the air with strength, you understand, with positive messages, with strong ideas of those who wage the most valiant, most honorable struggles, you understand, those that sometimes our enemies, want to tell us that it's in our interest, to go against, to forsake, but we define our own interests. We determine, you understand, what will work for us, and we understand it's in our interests, you understand, to strive to the utmost of our humanity, the humanity that oppression and violence and disrespect and dehumanization tries to destroy, that we recapture all these things that the enemy wants to steal from us, and fight the valiant fight, through the decades and in 2022 when the world is in an uproar of crisis, a time when it is necessary for the full extent, the gloriousness of full humanity, understand, to be at work. And so this is what we are engaged in, in Black August. Black August the Black love movement for our people, and in this regard, we say farewell to a family member in that struggle, a leading example for our people. Albert Woodfox, who died on August the 4th, a brother who, gave generalship, to the liberation of the spirit, the struggle of the spirit not to be broken. In various military writings, you understand, the strategic objective is to completely overwhelm the spirit, to steal the spirit, you understand, to take the spirit, the will to win from the masses of the people. In the past, and I haven't done it recently, I talked about Seligman's dog. This is something that relates to destroying hope. Martin Seligman was a psychologist. I told about this, it's been a little while since I mentioned this, that he took a dog and chained him to a radiator, you understand, and administered powerful electric shocks, and very, very painful electric shocks. And after doing this for a while, since the dog was a puppy, when he took the chains off and administered the shock, the dog just stood there and suffered and didn't struggle, didn't do nothing, made no effort to relieve his pain because he had learned hopelessness. You understand? So this is the military strategy of an enemy. You understand? As Michael J. Aquino, who was high in the echelon of Satanism, you understand, in the U.S. military, U.S. Navy commander said that this was his method of overwhelming the enemy, to make the enemy feel that there's nothing that he could do, that he was defeated. You understand? Like a 6-month-old baby crawling into the ring with Mike Tyson. This is the way that they wanted us, the type of so-called consciousness they wanted us to have. Sun Tzu in The Art of War said that the strategic objective is to completely take the spirit of your opponent, to completely overwhelm the spirit, you understand, and to crush your enemy immediately, you understand, immediately snatch the heart and soul out of your enemy and destroy it, you understand. So this is the strategic objective of an enemy, and we see it happening in 2022 when they're trying to control our awareness of history and the real nature of the economy. You understand? So Albert Woodfox, being in solitary confinement for more than 4 decades, you understand, refused to allow his spirit to be destroyed with the consciousness, with that Black Panther consciousness, the ferociousness of a Black Panther. Just think of the darkness of night in the jungle, you understand? And there's a ferocious Black Panther coming out of there attacking, you understand? Yes. This spirit, you understand, being in a cage for 40 years will not die, you understand? 4 decades, and aware of struggle, the struggle that our people must wage, of fighting, you understand? A spirit of fighting, you understand, in a 6x9 cell, to fighting, to not allow himself, you understand, to be crushed into the ground, to made into nothing, but that will to win existing, you understand? And when I was in solitary confinement, that was some of my most peaceful times, because I spent the time reading Frantz Fanon, Amilcar Cabral, James Making of Black Revolutionaries, and books like these, you understand? And Woodfox, you understand, he also said that don't let the cell beat you, you beat the cell. And a major weapon that him and his comrades, his Black Panther comrades, used in the penitentiary was education, classes, study groups, you understand, having debates, reading and understanding the realities of the world, and this type of thing, my experience in solitary confinement, this is what made me all right turn off the radio, have no
Right.
connection to the outside world, don't see no pigs all day long, seeing pigs. You understand? I'm talking about corrections officers, all right? Being separated from all that, but just being in the books, you understand? And this, and through the books, understanding that through our study, that we're going to win, that we can win, you understand? That this enemy has Achilles' heel to the wham wham and zoo zoo. You understand? Has Achilles' heel that we need to attack. You understand? We're complete overkill. Attack those Achilles' heel, the weaknesses of the enemy, which we become aware of, become completely and educated on, through our study. So this was his method while incarcerated. You understand? To fulfill and fortify his spirit and have the determination that he would not be broken. If we study history, we know the slave master was bad. Those who were running the slaves all day and made the slaves feel that they was inferior and that the master was the master. They was bad enough, but the worst was the slave breaker. Those who broke the spirit of the slave. You understand? So this is what solitary confinement is designed to do. But Woodfox said no. He said, do not let the cell beat you. You beat the cell. You understand? So he did that, you understand, through having that Black Panther consciousness, that strength, that power, that elevated humanity, you understand, which refused to allow himself to be beaten by the cell, to be beaten by the enemy, to fight back strong and courageously and valiantly, you understand, against the worst enemy mankind has ever seen.
Yes. Power to the people. Those are excellent points, and those points, they don't have no expiration date, right? We take those points, and that's the beauty and that's the power of Black August, because we take the points that you just made, an example of Woodfox and the examples of Mutulu Shakur, and we look at that. We take those examples and we gain inspiration to fight the fight, and that fight is for self-determination. That fight is for liberation. And one of the things, or one of the crises that exists is these violent acts that's going on in the community, particularly Black community. And so, the December 12th movement, you have a campaign called Stop the Killing campaign, and me and the brother are part of that. And we had a poetry jam, we had a job fair to just address those issues. And we find inspiration from the political prisoners, people like Albert Woodfox and Mutulu Shakur, who are not broken, who continue to fight the fight from wherever they at and however they can, right? Because they have contacts with people who rely on their input and how they see things and what's correct and what's incorrect. So this way that you don't have to just be out there by yourself. It's just like a football team, right? They have defensive coordinators and offensive coordinators, and just like those are what our political prisoners are. They are political coordinators, right? They tell you what you should and should not do, and how you can gain the people's attention. And I think that we should always include them in whatever issues that we are taking on. And the December 12th movement, August 17th, which is Marcus Garvey's birthday, they'll be at Bedford-Stuyvesant Restoration Plaza for a rally entitled Resistance and Reparations. So if you happen to be in Bed-Stuy, or if you're nearby, stop by.
4 to 7 o'clock.
4 to 7 o'clock. Curb Fest is coming up. That's going to be August 20th, and that's going to be at the People's Church, which is in Harlem, right? And stop by that church on that day, August 20th. If I'm correct, the time is 12 o'clock, right? I always provide my contact just in case I'm incorrect on anything or we're incorrect on anything, that you can personally contact me, because my contact belongs to the people. It's 347-679-3936. Again, that's 347-679-3936. So those are very important events and programs that we need to spread around, because we want to gain as much attention as possible. So those two dates is August 17th and August 20th. And I think as we continue to carry out the ideas of Black August, which is making a firmer commitment to our ideas. Make sure you make time to write a political prisoner for this month. I know I've written a political prisoner before, and I have not yet get responses from certain political prisoners like Veronica Bowers, but I think that has much more to do with the situation that he's in, because the seriousness of the security factors. I think that has something to do with him being able to write me back. That's just what I think, because when I wrote him a letter that was 7 pages and they said the maximum could be 5 and they sent it back, that made me think about what's possibly going on. But yet I still have to make time to write a political prisoner. Everybody has a role to play in bringing our political prisoners home and make sure that they don't die in prison. So, we all need to play that role, and we all need to take it seriously. And on the issue of role playing, right? We want you to donate a dollar. Can go a long way, can help us further our work with this podcast, because one of the things that we want to do next is we want to have our own palm cards. We have front and back. One side will be educating people on what it means when we use the term political prisoner, and the other side will be an actual link to the podcast, so we could increase subscription. Because once we increase subscription, that'll broaden our ability to carry out the message in different areas, because now we acquire different resources, because we are making ourselves accessible to different people in different locations. So we continue to say that wherever you're at, make sure the political prisoner is talked about. If it's in the comfort of your home, at dinner table, make sure you talk about it. And this is Black August, right? This is the time where we want to make a firmer commitment to our political ideas, because when we talk about politics, we're just talking about the relationship between power and people. Everybody needs power, from the quality of air you breathe to the time the bus is going to pick you up. It all revolves around power, and we cannot ignore that. And that's why we make the commitment we make to producing this podcast, whether it's 100 people or 1 person, or even no person or people at the time viewed it. It's okay. I mean, it's not okay in terms of the idea being put out there, but regarding us standing on principle, that's what the main concern is. It's the fact that we did not ignore the idea of a political prisoner, that we made a commitment, we made time. And anybody who's following me or following Abdul Haq and see the podcast, it understands that, wow, these brothers produce another episode. Let me give them 5 minutes, or let me give them 50 minutes, or let me give them 5 seconds. Regardless of what, they still heard the idea of political prisoner. Now, wherever they at, when it comes up, they're going to be compelled to look further into that idea and to see what we were saying was correct or incorrect, and how do they relate to that, right? We say it's political prisoners, our freedom fighters, and some would say the state, that is, would say that these are terrorists, these are criminals participating in criminal acts. But we say that's far from it, because we know what they were doing prior to their incarceration, and we know what they continue to do after their incarceration. The case of Mumia, we know Mumia is innocent, and Mumia knows he's innocent, but he said, he's a threat to the state, and the state wants him to die in prison. It's like they wanted to execute him, but the people say, you're not going to execute him on our watch. And they organized and they fought and they got him off death row. But the fight continues, right? And we have to fight more, with more conviction, with more time, with more resources, if we want to bring our brother home, and we want to bring on Kamal Siddiqui, right? South Jamaica has to stand up for one of their heroes, and we all have to stand up for our heroes, because our heroes need to be amongst us, and we need to be able to take care of them the way we should. They don't need to die in prison. And I think that, that's what Black August reminds me of. And that's what makes me more committed to this work, because it fuels me. It prepares me to go harder for the next coming year. Brother, when you hear about Black August, what does it do to you mentally and physically?
Well, for me, Black August, represent, an energizing, adding fire to the movement for Black love. Love being the solution that we must apply, you understand, the various neuroses and crises that we have as a people that we've acquired, you understand, through a disease-infected beast, you understand, in which we was brought up in, you understand, a culture, you understand, infected with all type of filth, you understand, and crazy ideas that are counter to our true interests, you know, ideas designed for someone else, for an enemy to be the determining factor in who we are, as opposed to us being self-determining, defining ourselves, you know what I'm saying, creating our own future, you know. And in that regard, brother, I'm glad that you talked about the Stop the Killing events that we are having. You know, I encourage people out there listening, the audience, you understand, you know, a mass appeal to our people, you understand, as a cure to this violence, to introduce our people to the writings of our political prisoners, the history of our political prisoners, the psychic of our political prisoners, their culture. You understand? For example, we talked about Robert Woodfox, you know, and the strength and the endurance and the
Albert Woodfox.
Albert Woodfox. Sorry, brother. Sorry, yo. Sorry, brother Albert Woodfox. But the who he was, you know, the reality of those who you know, stand up against all odds, you know, and when we compare that, you understand, to some of the beefs that we have in the street, you know, it makes it seem so silly and so dumb. For example, you know, black people killing black people because some French fries is cold. You know, we think about people who stood up, you understand, in the dungeons, in the hells of North America, in the worst parts of the hells of North America, where the employees are always Ku Klux Klan, who hate your guts, you understand, who spray chemicals in your face just because you're asking for a shower, you know, and beat people down, you know, once they gas them, you understand, and the horrendous conditions that our people go through, but still maintain this beauty, you understand, of spirit, beauty of humanity, you understand, that makes the beefs that we have, that we want to kill each other about, you know, seem so insignificant, you know, and we're saying that this is a way to stop this killing, you know, we must stop the killing, you know, people who fight to get back what was stolen from us, you know, a chump, a lame, a mark will let somebody steal their wealth and won't do nothing about it, feel they can't do nothing about it, you know, but the foremost among our folks, you understand, raise a struggle, a fight to get paid, you understand, for what was stolen from us, you know, and when we have that spirit of fight in us, you know, the type of people that have that type of consciousness, that type of will, you know, they don't get into these type of silly, dumb beefs over nothing, you know, killing one another, you know. So in that vein, we are saying that a great aspect of the solution to the killings, the senseless, insane killings that happen in our communities, you understand, is to study the works and the ideas and the history and the behavior of our political prisoners and those who also are fighting for reparations to be paid back for what was robbed from us, what was stolen from us. You understand? And, you know, all power to the people. You know, we must use those weapons that truly serve the interests of our people as opposed to what our enemy says is our interest. Black power, free them all.
Black power, free them all. Yes, you always bring that fire, the fire that's needed to get us inspired, to get us continuously fighting this fight to free our political prisoners. For those who are viewing, I just put up a saying, a quote from Sundiata Acoli, who we all had participated in him coming home. And if you see the link, he still needs some more financial assistance to help him adapt to being away for so long. I just want to reflect right now on the fact that he said something that inspires me. What I'm about to say is that he said that state don't free political prisoners, the people do. Mm-hmm. I think in Black August, we need to really evaluate that. Sometimes you don't have to have a long discussion to talk about what really is important. Sometimes so much can be said just with a few words. And I think that when we really look at that or hear that quote and evaluate it, we really look at it, we really should see it from a perspective of what we need to do. And we need to find that inspiration to take up that fight to free our political prisoners, to don't let them die in prison. That's right. That's why wherever I'm at, I make sure that I pass on the information. I want to give a thanks to King of Kings Foundation for them taking on some of the flyers that I had for the Curb Fest, and they did a distribution, a light one during their carnival. I heard the turnout was good. So just for some people to hear that a word about political prisoners, because we can't underestimate people, right? People are exposed to a number of things, especially in the current time that we live in, when people can press a few buttons on their cell phone and get access to information, whether it's right or wrong or in between. They still can make a distinction on what it is to them, if it's something correct or incorrect, and what side that they're going to go on, if they're going to go on any side at all. Either they're going to be activated by it, or they're simply going to be entertained. But the point that I'm making is that people are exposed to certain ideas. I put up a flyer in the where I currently reside, and after I put up the flyer, posted in the lobby, somebody said, "Oh, you wouldn't believe the amount of support that you have," because he's seen it say Curb Fest for political prisoners, and he was very inspired by it. I took the opportunity to give him my NEPPC brochure and told him I appreciated what he was telling me. And it inspired me. And what I'm saying is that wherever you're at, make sure you let people know about political prisoners. I know when I'm at my job, I have my mask on that says Free Kamal Siddiqui. I have my button on that says Free Kamal Siddiqui. And I'm challenging my employer to challenge me on wearing that, to see what he or she is saying, because I know what my response is. I'm going to say that I'm a liberation theologist, and this is my religion, right? So I have the freedom to practice or express my religious belief, just like somebody has the right to come to work with a cross, or come to work with an ankh, or come to work with a kufi, right? Or a yarmulke, whatever their position is religiously, they can do that. And I'm making that statement, and I'm waiting for them to say something to me. So what I'm telling people is that, we use any and every platform, or we should use any and every platform that we have access to make people aware of our political prisoners, to let people know and ourselves know that our political prisoners will not die on our watch, because our politics is working class people don't need to be exploited. They need to be liberated. They need to be in control of any and everything that their value is used for, right? And we have to evaluate what oppression is, and what liberation is, and what capitalism is, and what those opposing views of capitalism are. This way, we can be more committed to our ideas about freeing our political prisoners, because our political prisoners understood the importance of being politically educated, so you can be clear on what you're fighting for, and you can be clear on how you should fight, because you need to fight a certain way to fight this oppressive system. In regarding fighting, right? How you think people should take up a stronger fight when it comes to political prisoners? What do you think way a person or people can get more involved in the fight to free our political prisoners?
Well, through spreading the information of the need for the ideas of our political prisoners, of the leadership of our political prisoners, to be available to the masses, to be out here, instead of locked up in a cell somewhere, something that is very, very needed and necessary. You understand? A life-giving entity being on lockdown somewhere, and not being available to the masses is very, very necessary, and for us to understand, through analysis, how this can help our people, so we need a movement among our people, to combat those things that cause us crises, you understand, that cause us major problems. Albert Woodfox, said that one person can raise some sand, but a movement of people can make change, So we're calling for a movement, a movement of Black love. You understand? Various people have said that love is the solution. Albert Woodfox said that the love of his people is that sustained him, through his experience of hell on earth, a hell inside of hell on earth. Love for his people sustained him in that, Larry Hoover, leader of the Black Gangster Disciples, said that love is the universal solution. Many other people saying that that it's got to be about love. So we're saying also informing folks also that in continuation of the work that we did have in a poetry jam to stop the killing, tonight we're going to be talking about a back to school, keep it cool, no to the violence, you understand, to organize and hopefully make a big event, you understand, to get ideas to our youth, you understand, going back to, you understand, to focus on excellence in education, you understand, to focus on those potentials from among our youth, among our students to come forward, you understand, to give great contributions, and the ideas of our political prisoners need to be shared with them, and not held back from them. That's what the enemy wants to happen. The enemy doesn't want our youth to have the energy of youth to be attached to the ideas and the consciousness of our political prisoners and the contributions that they have made, you understand, to us as a people, So back to school, play it cool is coming, and all part of a movement for Black love, understand, to uplift our people, and a great aspect of the movement to uplift our people is to free all political prisoners, what's it called? Free them all.
Free them all. Yes, everything is said, everything to be said today to continue to inspire us to do this work. So we're going to close this episode, and we once again thank you for tuning in. Please share with 10 people and ask those 10 people to share with 10 people. Donate $1. $1 could go a long way. Enough people donate $1, then we definitely will have a further momentum in this particular type of work.
This as well. And I have to give the credit to this idea of Miss Kathy Hughes of Radio 1. She's like, Michael, it is time that you guys organize a fund to set aside to help people who sacrifice for our freedom. Meaning, every time something happens, I hear this. Why don't the gangbangers jump up and do something for us? Why don't you kill them? You kill each other. And I say to myself, when is the last time you sent money to Assata Shakur? When is the last time you sent money to Mutulu Shakur? When is the last time you sent money to Mumia Abu-Jamal or Larry Hoover or Jeff Ford or Leonard Peltier? When is the last time you have made it your business to send money to a revolutionary or a hoodlum that has helped us? And until we start to do that, how can we ask these young men to be warriors? Because if they do it in the name of the hood, at least the hood gonna honor their name always. At least the hood gonna make sure at least their children got something or their mama's house is looked after. As a community, if we're going to ask people to bungee jump for us with no cord, be prepared to take care of them when they get a life sentence. Be prepared to look after their families. See, I don't mind the work getting done, but let's take care of the workers. Let's stop asking more out of people than we would do for ourselves. So what I'd like to see, my dream thing, is to see 1 million people from the culture dedicate $10 a month. That's $10 million a month, $120 million a year toward taking care of civil rights leaders who have worked on our behalf and are elderly now and don't have to take care of themselves, like Rosa Parks, whose rent was paid by the owner of Little Caesars Pizza. We should have had a fund to make sure that she never had to worry about that again in her life. We should have a fund that makes sure money makes it to Assata Shakur, and Mutulu Shakur has legal representation and food, and Leonard Peltier, who has diabetes in jail, can get insulin and taken care of. And until we start doing it, $10 a month is about what you pay on a couple fast food restaurant visits. So if 1 million of us do that for the rest of our life, look at how well we'll be taking care of the people that we're asking to sacrifice on our behalf.
I agree. And recently,
What's the call?
Free 'em all.
What's the call?
Free 'em all.
What's the call?
Free 'em all.